going on, guys? It is now week 2 of the Road to Raw Nationals prep. So we are back on week 2 of training. This week is looking pretty much the same as last week, but hopefully we'll be able to put together some bigger numbers this week. Volume is slowly going to start creeping up, and like I mentioned in my last video, guys, this summer is going to be one of just uncharted sort of volume territory for me, at least over the past couple of years. So first thing today, we have a top set of 551 pounds. Then we're going to drop down on that challenge. Depending on how this moves, that'll determine the weight. So nothing more to say but to do it. Let's get to the set. Alright guys, so if we're being honest, I don't think squats could have gone any worse today. They feel a lot worse than last week. In fact, I was working with the same weight that I did for 8s last week for 5s today. I didn't meet any of my goals. I actually missed a rep on what I thought was going to be actually 5 kilos less than what I thought was going to be my top set. So things were just not moving today, and it was very frustrating because it's almost like a mind fuck a little bit when you come into a session and your body feels physically fresh, you feel prepared, you warm up well, you feel good, and then the weight just feels heavy. Like fatigue doesn't always manifest itself as kind of a sluggishness or soreness, and even when I backed down to a drop set, it still felt really, really heavy. And when you have days like this, I made a post actually about this on Instagram, so I'm going to show you guys it right now. I made a post about this on Instagram basically saying that there are no bad days because every day is data, right? And what matters, or I guess the outcome of those good or bad days is how you interpret that data, right? So if you kind of just take it emotionally and let it beat you up, not only is it going to affect your training negatively, but you're not learning what to take away from it, how to improve upon, whether it's your in-training approach from it, whether it's from a programming standpoint, right? Whether something is good or bad, whether or not you're going to do something as positive or negative, it depends totally on how you interpret that data and then make a decision after that. So to finish off the day, I just put my headphones in, and I treated a weight that I've done for 12, 13 reps before as a top set and just tried to bang it out for the 5 hard reps that it ended up being. Ultimately, this is going to happen a lot during training, and it's something you just have to kind of suck up and do, especially when you get stronger. So hopefully bench press is better. I have better shoes this time around. I know that they're going to work, so I'm just going to get to benching now, and I'll see you guys in my top set.
Me too.
You're a fucking idiot.
I'm not gonna lie, this week of training has been incredibly rough, and it's only Wednesday. I thought coming here, when I train on pound plates normally, especially on deadlifts, it actually teaches me a lot of patience because I have to take the time to pull the tiny bit of slack that comes out of the bar on pound plates. But it's not so much like a deadlift bar where it changes the leverages of positioning of the lift. But honestly, I couldn't get it together today. For those of you who are going through periods of training where you're not PRing or you're hitting numbers harder that, you know, are far cry from your PRs, like, there are literally sessions where I do a plate less than my top sets that I've done in the past, and they move harder. So, like, look at your training, look at the data, and you have to interpret that data as, okay, like, does this make sense for this to be happening? If so, keep going. If it does not make sense, you have the opportunity now to make a change. Like, every time something like that happens, you can't view it as negativity, because when you realize that it shouldn't be happening and you look back at your training and you say, okay, this doesn't quite make sense, when you make changes, you arrive closer to the truth, you arrive closer to the optimal dosage or volume or workout scheme that works for you. I just think I'm not adjusted to it yet. I feel pretty shitty, but we're gonna keep going because that's what we do. Something I'm going to be messing around with a little bit, guys, is saunaing after my workout. And this is not necessarily as a recovery tactic. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that it's going to present any sort of recovery benefits or help you get better for your next session, but rather I'm using it as a reflective period. And what I'm talking about is, I have a lot of people in my life who I consider to be mentors, and I value their perspective and their intelligence a lot. Elish Lee, Billy Rom, Ben Escrow, who have all sworn by just like periods of mindfulness and meditation. And I think that a lot of you can probably relate to coming into a session, having a bad day, and then like watching the video and being like, wow, that moved so badly. And you remember how heavy it felt, so you're attached to this idea that it moved poorly. And then the next day comes around and it moved a little better on video than you remember it moving. And then a month passes and you're like, damn, that moved pretty well. I wish I were moving it that way now. And it's these kind of moments where you attach yourself too much to how it felt in the moment, where you can't really pull back and kind of get that perspective on how things are really going and view the bigger picture. And in this case, the prep as a whole. So I'm gonna be taking these times to just really kind of sit back and slow everything down. I'm a very like on the go, just constantly moving, constantly thinking kind of person. And I think that these periods of reflection are gonna allow me to like reset for the next session and not really focus and hold on to past performances when going into a new day. Because it's easy to do that when you're constantly comparing yourself to somebody or have someone in mind that you wanna beat. That's the way it really is at the top of every sport. But you have to realize that like what you do in the gym or what you do in any path that you're pursuing, right? Like that work is independent to you, and regardless of who is also following that same path, like, you have to just keep your head down and focus on what you're doing and not let the daily fluctuations kind of take a hold of you. One thing that my high school baseball coach used to tell us all the time that I think really helped, and especially in baseball because you're constantly failing, you're constantly messing up, is not to take the highs too high or the lows too low. And that basically parallels what it's like in powerlifting. You really can't get too attached to the days where you have really good days, and you can't get too down on yourself the days you have really bad days. For those of you guys who feel my pain right now, I ate like most of my food earlier in the day, so I'm not really gonna have much to eat before I go. Can't even eat popcorn at the movie theaters. We're gonna power through. I'll see you guys back at the apartment. What's going on, guys? So I ran downstairs really quick because I got an email that I got a package, and I wanted to share this with you guys really quick because De Novo just restocked some of the all-time keys. So guys, De Novo actually just restocked Ignite, which had been on back order for a while, and I know a lot of you guys really liked Ignite, and I'm sorry it was out of stock, but now we actually have the new grape flavor, which I've yet to try. I will let you guys know in my next workout how it is. I'll probably use it for my SBD day. The great thing about Ignite, guys, is that it has a lot of electrolytes in it, along with the typical things you expect from a pre-workout. So for a day like an SBD day where you're there 3, 4, even sometimes 5 hours, you kind of get that like sustainable energy that you might not get with other pre-workouts, where you kind of burn out throughout the course of the session, and once the pre-workout is run, its 1 to 2 hour course, you're gassed. So guys, Ignite, grape, there's also green apple, there's watermelon, and then Suppress on De Novo's website. I'll link it in the description. My code is Nori, N-O-R-I, the same name as the channel. We're able to give you a nice little discount, give your boy a little bit of bump back, a little bit of pushback, a little bit of that cheddar cheese. So, what are you guys doing not buying De Novo subs? What's going on, guys? It's a new day. It is a new Friday, week 2 SBD day. We've had a rough week, to say the least, but like I mentioned in the last video, short-term memory, throw it out the window. Let's get to work today. Just got the new flavor of Ignite. This is grape. As you guys can see, we're gonna go a 1, a 2, a 2.5. All right. You guys smell this? This smells amazing. Can you smell that? It smells like American. All right, we're gonna shake this up. All right. See how it tastes. Go get some grape Ignite, guys. Alright guys, so squats, still having a rough time. That 518 AMRAP I had to do, that was per Joey's prescription, and the reason that we're doing that is that I've been in a little bit of a mental rut and a physical rut with squats as a result of my injury. Things are just feeling heavy because I definitely got a little weaker, but also I'm just not really used to pushing and grinding right now. So this AMRAP was more of a mental test. Sometimes what you program doesn't necessarily mean that it has to make, it makes physical sense, but it doesn't need to be the part of the program where you're like, oh, this is structured, this is intended for some physical stimulus. Sometimes it's more of a mental thing. This time around, it was absolutely necessary to push myself a little bit more than just the sets of 4 that you saw beforehand. Obviously, I missed that 8th rep. I really just wanted to try to empty the tank because it's something that I've kind of been afraid to do since my injury because I never really know when the knee is going to give. But moving forward, I mean, I really need to just take what's there every day and kind of just like expect to build upon that week to week, and that's all you really can do. Obviously, it'd be nice to be hitting the numbers I was hitting back in December and January, 562 for 8, stuff like that. But unfortunately, I don't have that right now, but we do have plenty of time to get that back, especially given how short of a period of time I was out for. So all I can really do is move on with the workout and just stick to the plan. It's bench now, see how it goes. You guys just saw me take a single with 496 at the end of my workout, and this is never something that I would recommend doing. But sometimes when you are kind of enveloped in all of this like emotional sort of attachment to your training, you kind of just like forget how to view things objectively. And one of my friends pointed out that it looked like my bar placement has been a little lower lately. And honestly, I thought it was BS, but I kind of just was like, this is more data. Let me get under the bar, try again. And things felt a lot more familiar with a higher bar position, at least thinking about putting it in a higher bar position than I normally do. And while doing singles at the end of a workout is not going to benefit you, you're not going to be fresh like you were at the beginning of a workout, just feeling confidence in something that I believe in, something that feels familiar, is good to go along with the following week and something to implement, something to have your mind on, something to be focused with to practice in your next session. Now, this week did not at all go how I expected it to. Sometimes you kind of get those second week sort of blues, those second week sort of, decrease in performance kind of sessions after, not really adapting to the first week stimulus. You kind of get a little more beat up and then things pick up. So you have to be hopeful when stuff like that happens, and just any lesson you can take away from the week, you have to do. So I'm gonna go back to my room and eat because I'm starving and it's a refeed day, and I'm just gonna finish the rest of the bagels I have in my room, so bye! We're back, and I might just be going on my 5th and 6th bagels of the day because it's a glorious refeed day. But that's not important. What is important, guys, is that you like the video, that you comment, that you subscribe, do whatever you gotta do. Leave any questions you might have for me, because to start off next week, I'm going to be doing a Q&A about training and non-training related things. If you have questions about school, career, any sort of like personal questions about me, ooh, that goddamn bagel's ready. Fuck yeah. Anyway, any questions you have, leave them in the comment section down below. I'm gonna get to editing this video right now, and guys, remember, there are no bad days. I'll see you in the next one.